let me just hear, tell me how that sounds to you lot there and be interested to know. I'm just going to have a look at it from your perspective and then we'll take it from there. So I hope everybody's well and I'll just wait for a few of you to sort of come onto the screen, become aware that obviously I've come live and, all them types of things and, whatever it is that you lot do. So hopefully you'll all be able to sort of see me and hopefully all you will be able to talk to me and hopefully we'll all be able to sort of I hope you can all see me. I hope you can all. I hope it's working. Is it working? Hi, Sue. Nice to have you here with me. Can you see the chat all right, Sue? I hope that chat's showing up there for you. Let me know how that's working for you, honey. Can you hear me okay as well? So let me know if you can hear me and stuff. Just I sometimes have to wait for you lot. Shelley's here as well. Hello, Shelley. Nice to have you here with me. I hope you can hear me all right. Chat hasn't shut up. I wonder why. Have a look. Let's see if I do this. See if it, just grab that link. Let me just get that in there. I'll just pop it in here while you've got. I'm just waiting for you lot. So just waiting for a few more of you to talk to me. I'll just try this one. See if this works out as better. Should fire up. There we go. I'm getting good, really. Tell you that. Denise is here as well. Hello, Denise. Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody hear what I'm saying? Yes, and everybody can see the chat. Can you all see the chat and things? Let me know. It should be popping up. That chat should be popping up. There it is. Smashing. Great. Let me click in. I don't want to let me click in. No, maybe not, Danielle. Let's have a look see if we can get in a good way. There we are. There I am. That's it. And I can see this use. I'm a clairvoyant. Well, tell me all about that, Sue. How long have you been a clairvoyant? You've been clairvoyant a long time, or have you, this type of thing? My mum's a medium, says Shelley. Oh, well, fantastic. It's a little hard to hear. Okay, do we need to turn it up a little bit? Let me know if it needs turning up a little bit. Does it sound echoey? Try that. Tell me how that sounds for you. I did turn it down a little bit because I didn't want it to be too loud. You can't hear you. Yes? Do you want a little bit more? Do you want to turn it up a little bit more, folks? Tell me how that is for you. Only just. Right, okay. Let's have a look and see if we can adjust that and see if we can do something with that mic. So give me a minute just while I have a look at this sound there. Filters, let's have a look. I wonder how it is for you. I don't know how it sounds for you. Only just this thingy. Let me have a look. Let's see if I was messing about with you now. I'm really messing about. I might get some mediumship stuff done. Let's have a look. Let's do it this one. Let's have a look. Let's see what this. No, not that one. Danielle. One. Yes, long time since the chat. Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me here this evening. Thank you very much for, being here. How's that? Is that any better? Is that mic sounding any better? Much better. Champion. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to Danielle Happy Medium. For those who do not know me, I am Danielle. Here UK based, so I know a lot of you are in from the States or other parts of the world. So let me just sort of quickly say hello. So hello to Sue, Shelley, Denise. Debs is here as well. Nice to have you here, Debs. And it's a pleasure for all of you to be joining me here this evening via YouTube. So this evening's live is all about your questions to me. If I can help you with your development in some way, is there something, in which that you want to talk to me about or would like a little bit more knowledge on, I'll do my best. I can't guarantee anything. What I will say is that, everything's open to interpretation and from your viewpoint as well as your belief. So you might not agree with everything I say. Some things you may agree with, some things may not resonate with you. So the best thing to do is take what it is that resonates with you and let the rest go. Hi to Sarah. I hope you're well, Sarah, down there in Wales. I hope you've got some questions for me, darling. So without further ado, I'll get into the boring stuff. So the boring stuff is I've just opened up some new Zoom classes in the month of April. So the English class is the 17th, and this is 7 p.m. our time, which is UK time, and for 2.5 hours. That is a connection to the mechanics and also the mediumship development. Then I have a one going on Pacific time, which is on the 24th of April. Again, that is Pacific time, so that's 7 p.m. your time, which I'm up at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Do you know what I mean? Doing them. But because it's easier for you out there on Pacific time, it's a lot easier for us to train you in that capacity. What I will say is, if there's anything in particular you want to talk to me about, there is an email address run along the sidebar, or it's within the description box below. You can certainly sort of talk to me a little bit about that one also. So also as well, you can also get in touch with other classes that I have. You can also go to the website, which is www.daniellethehappymedium.com. Shelley's saying, hello to Caitlin, nice to have you here, Caitlin. Shelley's saying, Danielle, you're doing so well on YouTube. Proud of you, keep it up. Ah, thank you very much. The YouTube channel was never really a place that I thought about training on. It wasn't a place that I sort of decided to sort of, look at. And it was another platform that I sort of become aware of through, watching other people and watching mediums and, this type of thing. And I thought, oh, well, it must be like a platform that's used very heavily. So, I can only thank you for that. I would love 2,000 subscribers, but I'm very present and I know that when the time is right, it'll happen. What I will say is the watch time is massive. It's the biggest thing that I need to keep the channel moving, get it monetized and stuff, and then obviously, it starts to make a couple of pennies off every video that you've got watched. So watch time is massive here on YouTube, and I would certainly, welcome you all to share the videos or share the channel, with your friends and, these types of things. It really does help, and I know you're probably looking at me and thinking, well, how can that possibly help? It helps in every capacity, if you're in certain groups and you think my videos help you, may help somebody else in there, by all means do share them things. I'd be really grateful. Thank you to, Shelley for, trying to get within 2,000 subscribers. I'm eternally grateful to you there. I really do, really thank you. Thank you very much for that there. Lillian saying the 24th her birthday. Well, happy birthday to you, Lillian. I'm sure I'll be talking to you before then, but if I don't, happy birthday to you for that one. So I'm now open for your questions. So any questions you want to talk to me about, clairvoyancy, how you may be feeling a little stuck in your development, which way might be the right way to go for you. Hi to Louise, who's just joining as well. Please do sort of share this video around. Give it a like, so it really does help the sort of algorithm, YouTube, like pick up on them types of things, so the sharing and the liking of the video and these types of things. And even if you like I say you don't watch all of the videos, giving them a like, so it lets YouTube know that people's watching them there. Are you from Newcastle? I'm just on the outskirts of Newcastle, so I'm in a little town called, well, it's not a little town actually, a place called Durham. So Durham is about maybe 20 minutes, half an hour from Newcastle, Shelley. So that's basically whereabouts that's where I'm from anyway. So, but yeah, it's very nice. It's a bit countryside. It's a bit rural and that. Newcastle's very busy. It's got a lot of sort of, a lot of hustle and bustle, a bit like London type of thing. So yeah, I've got family who live in Newcastle actually, Shelley, to be honest. Sarah saying I'm good. I hope you are. I've been in work. Yes, I am actually, Sarah. I've just been on Facebook actually. So anybody who's not following us on Facebook, certainly check us out. We also have an Instagram account for them who really don't have Facebook. Because I know lots of people don't really like Facebook these days. But yeah, I am really good actually. I was just talking about this on Facebook. I've just been live over there doing some just a big chit chat. For those who are my Australian following, I am on the Gold Coast Spiritualist Centre's page doing a live Q&A with them at 6 a.m. UK time, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. their time. So if you want to come along and watch me over there, by all means do so. I'll be very, very popular. Everyone in the stream, subscribe to my channel. Much to your channel. 6 subs for 50. Right, okay. We don't do that type of thing here, Shelley, on the page, on YouTube, unfortunately. So, I would appreciate it if, we don't sort of get into that type of thing. If you don't want to subscribe, then they'll subscribe. If you don't, you don't. And, I appreciate you and understand you probably want your channel to grow. but I appreciate that, I would prefer you not to ask for people to subscribe to the channel when you're on my screen. So I hope that all of you are well, and I hope all of you that are keeping okay. For me, I'm now open. By all means, you can certainly get involved, and you can certainly ask me your questions. I will be very, very honoured to answer them for you. For those who are new to the channel, welcome, and do subscribe if you're not already subscribed. It's an absolute pleasure. So hi everybody. I hope this is all okay. I've got my cup of tea. Look, as always, I've got my cup of tea, and I've got loads of lipstick round it and that. Very nice indeed. So, questions, folks? Any questions at all that you may have in regards to your development or your mediumship? How is the view looking? Is it a bit straighter? I mean, somebody said to me today that the video, like the bit like with my face on, looked like it was dead stretched. So I had a look at that. So does it look any better? No, there is going to be some more graphic work. I've run out of time today. I've got to be honest. There's some new graphic work that's going on here. I just haven't had time to figure that out. I just run out of time. I did. I run out of time today. Unfortunately, I just didn't have time to do all the things I wanted to do. Bob Marley, all the things that I was doing and all. So it was just craziness. It's been one of them days with changing the work, and I just there's bits and pieces. But yeah, I hope it's better. We can see that chat a little better and all, which I think is really, really nice as well. Because I know lots of people couldn't really see it last time, and and there's that super chat things about it be activated and that. So I thought you'd like to see that, and you'd like to see what you can do and how them types of things. So I'm happy to answer your questions. So if you'd like to stick your questions in the comment box, that would be great. I'm gonna have a mouthful of my tea, and hopefully by the time I've drank some of that tea, there'll be some questions in the comment box for me in order for me to be able to answer them. So when you're fired up and ready to go, ladies and gentlemen, those who are missing in the background, do sort of get involved. Please do give you questions and things. So I'm going to mouthful this tea, and hopefully I'll have a question by the time, I finish drinking this mouthful of tea. Very nice. So Lillian said it looks good, just not as loud and clear as usual. Okay, Lillian. Let me have a quick tweak of that then while we're sort of yeah, see if we can do something, and while I'm waiting for a few of you to sort of add some questions. Have a look. I don't know whether I should maybe not easier. I'm gonna close it there. Have a look. How like this thing. Maybe we'll move that up a little bit. How does that sound? Does that sound any better? Here. Let's try these. Oh, not that one, Danielle. Right, tell me how that sounds. Is that any better? People, let me know how that sounds to you lot. I can always drop the volume down a little bit if it needs to be. Let me know how that sounds for you. How does that sound? Hi to Christina. We got some questions from Christina. I am really well, actually. Thank you very much. How is that? It wasn't as loud. Tell me what it's like now, and then I'll have a look. So Denise is asking me, when I sit in the power and try not to have any thoughts, I get random faces, places, and like many videos that's playing. Is that from spirit? Answering short your question, Denise. Yes. So that's the start of clairvoyance. So what tends to happen is when we start doing mediumship, there's lots of random faces, people who don't really know, lots of video clipping, lots of sort of just stuff that doesn't make any sense. Now, what's going on there in the background is that the spirit world is starting to work with your mind. So the spirit world's getting used to seeing how much you're taking notice of it and then how much you're not. A great tip I can give you, Denise, is to write it down. Because when you write it down in a book or these faces or whatever it is you see, the spirit world become acknowledgement that you've acknowledged the stuff. Then what they start doing is they'll start bringing more things in. So that when then things happen, what will happen is that this will then the spirit world will know, right, you're getting that. You're now try something else and we can develop something else. So when that's the basis of starting a clairvoyance, and lots of people get very nervous here because thinking, hey, I can see all this random stuff. Why is all these random things there? What's the video clip? What's this? What's that? It's the spirit world testing your mind. It's the spirit world making sure that you're acknowledging it and you're accepting it. If you're doing that sort of on your own, or you're not in a sort of development class, or you're not sort of in an awareness class, or you're not sort of doing these types of things, so what I would say to you is write it down, because when you write it down, the spirit world will become aware of your helpers, your guides, your inspirers will become aware of that, and then they'll start to bring more and more things in there. It's the start of clairvoyance to me. Well done, congratulations, welcome to the spirit world. It'll be fun for you. Anyway, so Lillian's saying a bit better. Sounds like you're further away from the mic though. Oh look, well the mic is actually over here. Now I'm gonna just move the mic, and I'm gonna see if that makes. Now may move the camera, so bear with us, all right? And it is always a delay at my end. Tell me how that mic sounds now. Yeah, I know. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can get this right. How's that sounding for you now, Lillian? Is it sounding any better? Any better? So turn that off and see how that works. Let me know. It's just trial and error till we get it really sort of where we want it to be, and then once I get it where I want it to be, it'll never really trip. It's all right, Shelley. It's all right if you. Hello, Martin, love. I hope you're well. Tell me how that sounds, Lillian, love. Sarah Owen saying, lately I've been feeling a lot of my energy sitting in the power working on me now. At first I couldn't feel my energy. Right, so what's happening there, Sarah, is the spirit world's starting to build. You're building power, spirit world's building power. Things are going to start and move forward. So once we start building power, what we tend to do when we first start out is we build a lot of psychic energy because we haven't done enough development to be able to move that over to the spiritual world. So what I will say to you there is keep doing that. Make sure that you're moving your mind. So now that you've got that power behind you of the psychicness, let's start moving the mind and seeing what the spirit world can do with that development. See what the spirit world wants to do with all of that energy. See how the spirit world wants to move that forward. Do you know what I mean? So keep at it, sweetheart. You're doing very, very well. Also start asking the guide to come forward more, Sarah, to see how the guide would like to interact with you more and see what your guide wants, what your guide would like to teach you there. All right? It looks very small on my phone, Dan, and not as loud as it was before. Tell me how it sounds now, Debs. I'd be interested to know. Lots better. Fantastic, folks. Lillian saying, how do you usually know when there are multiple communicators? So there's a couple of techniques for that one there, Lillian. Yes, totally better. Can hear now. Great stuff. Thank you very much, folks. Do you want the mic a little bit closer? I'll bring it a little bit closer. So when we're doing multiple communicators, there's a couple of techniques that I have. So one, we can use the spirit world and use the intelligence and use the guide. So what we would do is when we're working for the spiritual world, we would ask the guide to only allow one communicator to come in at a time. That can be sort of a beginner step. As you would move further down the path and become more experienced, the spirit world will probably start to step back a little bit. They will assist, but they won't do it all. So what will happen is your mind will start to become more disciplined. So what we would do is more focus and meditations, or more focus and exercises with your mediumship to make sure that you're focusing only on the one particular communicator. What I could also say to you there is when you're doing multiple communicators, check. It's as much responsibility as the spirit world as it is yours. So you need to be looking round or feeling round to see how many communicators you have. And it's your job to make sure that you always stay with the one communicator, and then send the other communicator back. Lots of mediums, what they do is that once they get a couple of communicators, they'll jump around. So they'll jump on one communicator. And it's all right if you can work multiple links like myself. But if you can't really work multiple links, you're going to get unstuck. So the best thing to do is once you have the one communicator, that one communicator who took your mind, stay with that communicator. The rest need to go back. unless unfortunately this communicator is bringing somebody else forward, which could be possible because the spirit world, there is better communicators in the spirit world than other communicators, and sometimes when they're in a family group and a particular sitter is looking for an individual, this would be more on a sitting in the power to sitting in the power on a one-to-one sitting, sorry. What we have to understand is that sometimes other loved ones are better communicators in the spirit world than other ones, which they may help this other loved one come through. So we always have to be mindful of that. So maybe asking a question, so this particular communicator you've got, there's two there, ask, is the other communicator behind is relevant or is needed? If not, send that one back and stay focused on the one that's come forward there. They're just a couple of the hints and tips I can give you, Lillian. Let me know how they resonate for you, all right? Sarah's saying, let me have a look. Sarah's saying, I say lots of phases when I go to sleep and when I'm in meditation. So like Denise's question, like I did say, what I will say to you there is with connections to that, it's as the spirit world starting to work with you. So as the spirit world, it's the beginning of your clairvoyance. It's an opportunity to become aware of, this clairvoyance. I would definitely write this stuff down. It's important that you do. I would say because then the spirit helpers, guides, and aspirers are going to know that you're getting it, which then means that they're going to go on to start and do other development with you there. When you're sleeping, again, it's a shift of the mind. So you, as much as I know I don't really like to say this, you're a bit of a licky medium. You're not as disciplined with your mind as you should be. You're looking for the spirit world, looking. And that's because you don't trust enough in your development. You don't trust enough in your mechanics yet. The spirit world only come looking for you when you go looking for them. The spirit world can't be found unless we've done the shift of the mind. So therefore, you've got to be looking for them there. So there's, again, a great technique, Sarah, for bedtime is putting the breath here. So make sure that you put your mind to the breath when you go to bed. Instead of taking your mind to the spirit world or looking through the third eye, bring the mind down here where it's present with the chest, which is really, really helpful there when you're doing that kind of sleeping, this type of thing. Learning to quieten the mind as much as possible is really important when we're going to bedtime. Someone used to always say to me, empty the mind, and I never used to know what she was talking about, and then I realised what she was talking about, which was completely emptying this and taking the mind somewhere else, so that the mind or the conscious mind has something else to focus on other than looking for the spirit world, because ultimately the more you're looking for them, the more you're going to find them there. So I hope that helps you. Sue saying, good. Hiya, Sue, my darling. Lillian, a bit better. Sounds like you're further away from the mic or something. And my computer, right, I think we've been past that. Martin's here. Evening, Martin, my darling. Hiya, Danielle. In one of your videos, you mentioned you don't like random names being given out. I find I can be quite accurate when they just come in, but when I try, I can't get it wrong. So, it's what we call dilution, Martin. So what happens is that when Lord's better, great. Whoop, whoop. It's called dilution. So basically what we do, Martin, is that when we fight to find information, our conscious mind kicks in and it will start racking through the database, which is obviously your mind, to find something very similar to what it is that you're looking for. And 9 times out of 10, it's normally wrong. The best thing, and I've always said this, is to allow the spirit world to look for what you want. A little hint and tip I can give you, Martin, if you're looking for that, is if you get a name, send it back. If you're doing a communication, send it back. And you'll probably think, well, what do you mean by that, Danielle? So, say for example, I got Rupert. I would like push it away from my mind and say, if it's meant to be, bring it back. If it comes back again, then I say, right, give it back again if it's meant to be, and I'll push it away. And if it comes back a third time, I give the name. It's been a technique and a one that I've used quite readily throughout my mediumship with names. And I've got to be honest with you, Martin, it's never let me down. It's basically so that, my mind my conscious mind isn't interfering with the names, because sometimes the conscious mind can get involved and start diluting the information, or can sort of want to find something very similar, which is normally wrong. Also, when we're looking for stuff, it's always the same as spirit world. You never quite get what you're looking for. If you allow it, you tend to get what you're looking for. And this is where, when I always say to people, allow the story and the communication to do what it wants to do, because otherwise what will happen is the conscious mind will always want to get involved. You could then even also jump down onto a psychic link, which isn't very good, and start pulling names to the auric field. So that's another thing and all. So the best thing to do is allow the spirit world use that intelligence. I think I spoke about that on the last live stream I did 2 weeks ago. Not enough people understand that intelligence. The intelligence is that they know what they need to talk about. They know what it is that's important to get over to the particular sitter or loved one with in front of you. So use that intelligence. Allow that intelligence to do what it's meant to do. Sometimes when we're raking around for evidence or raking around for stuff, what can happen there is we can get involved, dilute the information, and then completely push the communicator away because we're getting involved, and we're not supposed to be getting involved in communication. We're meant to just be delivering. We're meant to be just allowing. What mediums have forgotten is to stand present and give your mind to the spirit world and let the spirit world do what they need to do with it. And when you trust in that mechanic and when you trust in that intelligence, the spirit world will never let you down in that capacity. So I hope that helps you a little bit there with that one. Much better, says Sarah. Much better. Oh, everybody's happy, happy, chappy. Oh, great stuff. So Sue's agreeing. Well done. Thank you, Sue. Wow, amazing. So excited. I can't wait to hear my God. I used to be scared. Now then that's the real good thing about. Thank you very much for hitting up the thumbs up, everybody. That's the great thing about mediumship. And I talk about this so readily that, we keep excited with your mediumship. When you are not happy with your mediumship, you're not happy with you, then there's got to be some changes. And normally 9 out of 10 there needs to be changes with you, which then makes changes in your mediumship, which then gets you then excited again. Honestly, the best thing you can do is always be excited about your mediumship and where your mediumship is taking you, and always be excited about the next journey, the next possibility. It's not a race. And I said this to somebody the other week. There's many, and this is only from my viewpoint, and this is not having a pop at anybody or anything like that. Many people are trying to make it to the top. The naming lights, all these types of things. My answer will always be to them who look to try and get to the top. Once you get to the top, what happens? Because there's nowhere else to go. And so for me personally, it's not really the best sort of idea of where you want to be taking your mediumship. The best thing to do with your mediumship is remember to do your mediumship for all the right reasons and keep it humble. By keeping it humble, you'll always stay present. By staying present, you'll be grateful. And you'll always be excited about the next journey of your mediumship. It's so important for you there. And I love mediumship. I'm very passionate about it. I'm passionate about teaching. I love demonstrating. I still like the private sitting, and I still like to help people where I can. It's really important that I keep that humbleness about me, because it keeps me sort of grounded, if that makes sense. Keep that excitement. And lots of mediums lose that because they get very excited. They start doing loads and loads of platform, loads and loads of demonstration, loads and loads of teaching, and they lose sight of where they're going, and then they lose the buzz for mediumship. And I love about the spirit world, and it's a great thing. They bring for every bit of the hard work that you put in, so maybe sitting in the power, or you're not quite getting that connection right, or you've got these multiple communicators, or then there's them lovely sort of moments that they'll bring this beautiful sort of thing in where, yeah, I've got it, I'm right, I'm on the right track, I know where I want to be, and then you'll just keep moving, keep that excitement. It is one of the best things in the world, Sarah, and lots and lots of mediums lose along the path. Again, that's not having a pop at anybody. I'm certainly not trying to preach or hear anything. It's just from watching the mediums and talking to the mediums in the movement. There has been some issues in that department. Keep that excitement. It's really important. Christian's saying, hi Christian, I hope you're well, my darling. When I'm sitting in the power or doing medium readings, it's just like my ear reading. It's like they put earplugs in my ears. Why? Right, the first question I want to ask you, why, right, so let me ask you this question. What does it feel like to you? What does it feel like, what, let me understand that, because I want to put that to you. I want you to answer your own question. It's nice for me to answer your questions, but sometimes I like mediums to have a look at what they're doing as well. So, can I ask you a question? Why do you feel it feels like that? Is there a reason why it feels like that? Is there something that is making you feel like that? Or have you asked the question as to why the spirit world may be doing that? Have you asked your guides as to why that may be going on, first and foremost? Thanks, Anne, for hitting the like button. Thank you, darling. Great explanation. No problem, Lillian. No problem at all. Sue's asking grounding. So are you asking me to talk a little bit about grounding? Or are you asking me to fill me in a little bit more on that one, Sue, my darling? All right. Auntie, best way to clean houses besides burning sage? You know, for me personally, I've got to be honest with you. I've got to be honest with you on that one. I'm not really sort of into burning sage. You know, I'm not poppy, yeah, honestly, I'm not. Because I did all them things many, many years ago. Many sort of, when I first started on my mediumship, you know, I believed in, you know, saging and, you know, putting crystals round and, you know, these types of things. So I never knock anybody because I've been down that road and I understand all of that. What I have learned over the years is to be more mindful of what I'm thinking, be more mindful of where my mind is and how much I am attracting and how much I'm not attracting. So, for example, I need to ask why you want to clear the house. Is there a reason? Normally, good fresh air, good clean round, you know, a bit of disinfectant. Jobs are good, do you know what I mean? So I have to understand a little bit more on your question, answer. Give me a bit more on that. Sage, if you want to sage it, by all means do so. I'm not here to dismiss that in any capacity, but I'd be just interested to understand a little bit more as to why you would want to do them things. Let me know. Let's have a look here. Hi, Danielle. I haven't got your name right, the STR reality. I hope I've got it right. I'm a little dyslexic, so please take my apologies on that. But you've got a lovely fairy picture, so I love that. Hi, Danielle. Do you feel that antidepressant medication will hinder or shut down the player's communications with spirit guides? So there's many different sort of scenarios out there with connections to that. There's many people who one will say yes to that, one will say no to that. Me, it's a personal choice. It's a personal understanding of where you sit within them parameters. It's up to you. Depression is obviously a human thing. It's a problem with the mind. There's an issue within your mental, within your sort of capacity there. So for me personally, I don't necessarily agree with that, and I wouldn't tell anybody to come off medication. So I'm just going to put that one straight out there. All right, I certainly wouldn't want to say that. But what I would say for me personally, I don't believe that it should hinder them things because the spirit world's using the subconscious, not the actual conscious mind. But there's many different options and many different sort of theories and thoughts out there. My advice to you is if you need the medication, take it. If you don't need it, by all means, always go with the recommendations of your doctor. Don't just stop coming off tablets and stuff. That certainly please don't do that. But certainly have a chat with your GP. Certainly have a talk about them things and see where you want to be with them. It's a personal choice. I've got to be honest with you on that one, and I wouldn't like to say one way nor the other one. I will always say it's a free will, personal choice on that one. Do I think it has anything to do with spirit communications or spirit guides? From my personal viewpoint, no. But everybody's going to see it from a different parameters, and I always say to people, do it from your perspective. So that one is a personal choice. I've got to be honest with you. I hope that answers the question there for you a little bit. No problem, Mon. Evening, Sarah, my darling. I hope you're well. You can learn every day. I certainly agree with you on that one too. Very much so. Question from a friend. What is your take on protection? Do we need to protect ourselves? White light bulb, working with spirit. Right. I've already done a video on this one, Jay. I've got to be honest with you. I've done a few videos on this one. So, lots and lots of questions. So, I will give you what I got from my people in the spirit world. Now, I'm going to be very honest because I'm always an honest lady, or I try to be as honest as I can humanly possibly be. You can interpret that whichever way you like, of course. But, I was that medium. I was that medium that put that light up and that grounding down and did all them rituals and all them type of things because that's all I knew. I didn't know any different. Over time, working with different mediums, seeing it from a different perspective, yes, of course. And this is the great thing about mediumship. Our viewpoints, our beliefs are constantly evolving and changing over the years. So, I see it from both ends. I see both ends, from the connection of doing them things and also a connection of not doing them things. Now, for the spirit world itself, there is nothing in the spirit world that can harm you. Nothing. They work on a totally different vibration to the vibration of us down here on the earth world. And I've got big thoughts and have done now for many, many, many months and years. Lots of people aren't ready for that kind of thought-based idea of how I think the spirit world works. Many people are still looking at it from a different perspective, and that's okay. I'm quite happy with that. But when I spoke to the spirit world and I spoke to my team, I didn't want to give this from a viewpoint. Now, I'll give you my viewpoint of where I was then and where I am now. But in order to get a bigger understanding and to have an acknowledgement, I went to the spirit world, Jay. And I said to the spirit world, look, what's all this about? What's all this protection about? What's all this about? What's that about? And the answers I got back is all humans, us down here, are living on each other's energy. Because we are all sitting on the same sort of vibrational mat, some are altering, some are different, some are changing, but we all have very similar energy fields, every one of us. So when I said to the spirit, well, what's the bubble for? So what I was told is many, many years ago, when this protection and thing was given to the human minds at the time, the minds weren't ready to understand. They thought that it was for mediumship. They thought it was because there was something bad in the spirit world, because there was still a lot of fear in mediumship. And there still is a lot of fear in mediumship. There's a lot of fear in humans. And because of that, that's then more or less altered and pushed over into the spiritual realms. And lots of people, I'm not having a pop at anybody here, I'm not trying to be awful, I hear everybody's viewpoint, I really, really do. But what happens is there's a lot of mediums, especially newbie mediums, when the psychic ability is first firing off. And you've got to remember, we've got to start with the psychic ability. As the years goes on and as our development moves forward, the psychic ability drops and we become more and more mediumistic. So we become more and more evidential. And this is what people don't realize. When we first start off, there is all this extra psychic ability, extra energy going off, which was what Sarah was talking about. So there's lots and lots of this energy. And then what happens is we start to move that over to mediumship. So anyway, what the spirit world had said to me is the bubbles were given for psychic energy, because we have humans who interact with other humans and like to feed off other humans. For a prime example, so this is the examples that the spirit world give to me. When we go into a hospital, many of us will go in very happy, very bright, very chipper, very pleasant, and then what will happen is we will come out feeling very drained, very tired, very sort of, God, I could do with a nap. And that's because what's happened is the person in the bed who you visited has needed your energy, and you've given that energy. Now, a lot of us have weak personal boundaries. We have weak boundaries with people and weak boundary with people who push on us. We push on us. So what happens is the white bubble was given because some people need visuals. Some people need visuals. Some people don't. Everybody works differently. So the visual was given so that people could put the white bubble up and they would be able to sort of use that intention within their mind to be able to take better care of themselves. Now, I just use the intention base, which is my energy is mine. Nobody can have it. And I just leave that as it is, and I believe in that. So I don't believe that anybody can touch my energy unless they have permission to. Does that make sense? So what happens is the bubble was given for them reasons. It was given to help the human mind of psychic energy to have something to hold as a visual in order so that it could feel safe, so that the minds weren't as fearful when they were doing mediumship. Does that make sense? It was never given for mediumship. It was given in order to help the minds relax, so that the minds would feel in a better place. As we've obviously moved on and as mediumship has started to move, people and minds are becoming less and less restrictive. They're not as fearful. Some people are still quite fearful. That's okay. But bubbles and white protection has nothing to do with the spirit world. Nothing. And I'm going to give you the prime example, and I've never ever spoke about this, but I'm going to speak about this. So when I first started in my mediumship, I wasn't quite sure what was going on. I'll be very honest with you. I mean, I come from a background full of ordinary people. No mediumship background whatsoever. Nobody in my family did mediumship. I didn't even know what mediumship was until a friend of mine introduced me to meditation. I didn't have a clue. I've always been a little psychic, and I always used to dream stuff and that type of thing, but I never really knew what it was. So when I first started doing my mediumship,
my energy was just all over. And I was doing that, putting the bubble up, and I was thinking, all thinking it was going to help me with the spirit world to protect me. And really, when it all come to all, I was putting these layers of protection up. I was putting this black tourmaline round us. I was doing this. I was doing that, and nothing was fixing it. Nothing. And when it all come to all, that was because the bubble was never designed for mediumship. It was only designed to help me here. So I know from personal experience that that white bubble, it didn't work. Not for mediumship. I know that for a fact because I've tested it and trialed it. And I'm a great believer in, and I talk to you all the time about these things here on the channel. You've got to learn to do things yourself. You've got to go through that experience in order to understand it. But I've got to be honest with you, protection, it didn't work because you didn't need it. And when your mind becomes less and less fearful, when your mind isn't in a place of panic and worry and thinking that, there's something bad in the spirit world, you will find that your mind relaxes and allows you to work more and more independently with the spirit world. And that, folks, takes time. And I can educate you and I can tell you, but you've got to learn that for yourself. And that's the beauty with mediumship. That's the niceness with it, is give yourself the time. You've got all the time in the world. All the time. You've got, I don't know how old some of you are on here, but I bet most of you have got at least 20 years on here. There's no rush here, and you're going to get it when you get it. Some minds will get where you are right now and accept it and wholeheartedly understand it. Some minds will be a little further down the path trying to push knowledge onto people, and the minds aren't ready for it. There'll be other minds that won't take it at all, and they will want to stay the way they are, and that's okay. And didn't give yourselves a hard time because you believe something different to what somebody else believes. Don't always look at the different parameters, but if it doesn't resonate with you, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Let it go. Don't, if it resonates with you, you think, yeah, I could maybe take something from that, then sit that with you for a little while and see how that works for you. Does that make sense? Didn't be in a rush. Didn't be doing what everybody else is doing. I did a video on your relationship with the spirit world, and it is just that. Your relationship. I've said this 1,000 times on the channel. I'll keep on saying it till I'm blue in the face. You can't buy mediumship. You do it at your own time, at your own pace, with your own people. And don't be watching what other people's doing. Don't be worrying what they're doing, because what they're doing is what they're doing, and you're doing what you're doing, because that's where you're meant to be right now. And when the time's right, they'll move you forward. But in essence, to Jade's question with protection, I've been down that road. I've done all of it. And I'm not saying I know everything, because I didn't. And I'm sure that there's somebody out there that probably knows more than me. And I'm okay with that. But I can only speak from my personal perspective and explain to you that I tried that white bubble and I was full of fear and it didn't work. And then when I got my mind into a good place and my mind was able to accept where it was meant to be, I didn't need them things. Does that make sense? And it was just easier. It was easy, and it was just a transition I had to go through. But for many years, for the first, I think for about the first year of my mediumship, I was putting that bubble up and, putting that grounding down and, putting them rituals in place. So I appreciate and I understand where you're coming from. And I understand how worrying it can be for you. And some people will agree with Jade, some people will not. Some people agree with me, some people will not. It's entirely up to you there. And I will always say that to anybody. Do what it is that is best for you, not what's best for everybody else. Mediumship's an individual path. It's not a collective path. It's about being allowed to be yourself and believe in the things that you believe in. I mean, some people didn't believe in unicorns. Who am I to say whether unicorns exist or not? Do you know what I mean? It's not my place to say them things. It's whatever you want to believe in to help your mind feel safe is okay with me. I will always ask you to expand on that. But if you don't want to, then that's okay too. And I think when we start looking at mediumship a little bit more like that, I think we'll have great movement and I think we'll have greater understanding about fellow man. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there for you, Jay. Deb Williams is saying, Deb Fred, sorry, says, still dreaming of the Native American Indian. He came to me in my dream with his war paint on. I could call him chanting again. No words yet, Dan. Just keep at it, Deb. It'll come. No, I haven't, but I feel like I might be kept my mind where I need to be. Well, then have a look at that there, Christine. See where it is that, you want to be with that, and certainly sort of let me know. But I do want to ask the question. Lots of people, I've said this for a long time here on YouTube, and I'll keep saying this. Lots of people, we go outside, we be looking for answers out here. Can this one help me? Can that one help me? Can that help me? Can that help me? And we should all take hints and tips, and we all should take some little bits and pieces of knowledge. Yeah, definitely. Do you know what I mean? But I always say, and I do this with my students as well. I was a woman. She didn't train me. She just monitored my mediumship when I first started out. And I used to go to her and I used to say, answer this question for his answer. And she used to say, no, go to the spirit world and get the answers. And I always try to say that to people here on YouTube and also in my classes. What's your people got to say? Go we ask them. If there's something going on with the ears, like Christian was asking me in a question previously, then I always say to my students, go away and ask your team and then come back to me. If I can help you after that, then I will. If I can sort of guide you. But I never like to tell people, because my interpretation is very different to your interpretation. And I always want people to be free thinkers. I always want you to be finding your relationship with the spirit world. I always want you to understand that, that relationship is purely yours, and nobody can walk that path for you, just you. So I hope that helps you a little bit there, Christine. Laura's saying, hello, Laura, darling. I'm starting to make breakthroughs with the spirit world, but my fear of negative spirits. Right, let's talk a little bit about negativity and negative spirit. So negative spirits are, what we have to understand is that all of us down here, so let's put it this way, if I was to go out tomorrow and rob an old granny, would that make me a negative spirit or a negative person? Or would it be that I've just made a bad life choice? And lots of people have to understand that when we're down here, we have a choice. We're choosing every day, from the food we pick, to the water we drink, to the tea we drink, to, the people we sleep with. We're making a conscious choice every day. Some choices are really good, and we make excellent choices. Other choices we make, and we think, oh my God, why on earth did I do that? Do you know what I mean? And then there's others that think, should I come back for another try or not? We're making choices every day, right? And what we have to understand here is that we are only but the choices and decisions that we make. That doesn't alter what person we are, what we're not. What you have to understand with the spirit world is they're not labeling. You lot's labeling and I'm labeling, but the spirit world's not labeling anybody. The spirit world don't believe in good people and bad people. They don't believe in rights and wrongs. All they believe in is how much progress and how much acknowledgement can you accept of where you maybe did make a bad choice, and would you make that choice again? If so, why so? If not, how can you develop and move forward? One of the principles is open continuous existence of the human soul. And that's a principle of the soul is open to continue to grow and evolve every day and every day thereafter, whether they make good choices or bad choices. The spirit world's not here to punish people. It's only here to ask you to look at how you could do things differently. So when people go to the spirit world, they aren't negative people. They've just made bad life choices. They've made choices that maybe weren't kind, which is maybe not doing the right thing by another fellow man, maybe taking another man's life. Whatever that choice may be, or whatever choices they made, it doesn't make them negative people. It just means they made bad choices. So when you think of it that way with the spirit world and the spirit world in which that we work with, think of it as the spirits that are over there are all learning, progressing, and growing. Yes, granted, some, like us down here, some people are only new to mediumship. Some are a little bit along the path. Some are further along the path. Think of it in that way, Laura. In the spirit world, some are progressing, some have progressed a bit more, and some have progressed a little bit more. And there's no difference between this man and this man, only but knowledge, only but understanding, only the bigger picture. And that's the same down here. That's the only difference between me and you. Is I'm no better than the beginner. I say this all the time on the channel. The only difference is I've homeschooled my sex a bit more. That's it. So try to look at it. When we learn, and this is what Chief says to me all the time, Chief's my dad, by the way, when we learn to see things from a different perspective and learn to see the bigger picture, will you find that you see the outlook on what you perceive is far different than the perceiving of which you looked at it before? So I hope that helps you a little bit there. Sarah's saying antidepressant. So there's Sarah who's antidepressant. Thank you for that clarification, Sarah. I've got to say I do believe it's a free will choice there on that one. Jade saying, question from a friend. Second medium told me I need to pay more money to clear my energy and take away attachment. What do I do? I was gonna sort of say a lot more there like Jade, but I had to sort of restrain myself. So let me help you a little bit. Let me have a mouthful of this tea. So as a personal responsibility, is a medium, is a psychic, or anything else like that, or any human for that matter. There's many disbeliefs in mediumship. There's within the psychic parameters, many different. What we've just been talking about, many different people believe many different things, Jade, right? And we've got to always take that into consideration. It's everybody's viewpoint, and that's okay. It's not okay when people are frightening people. That's when it becomes not okay. Excuse me a moment. I should maybe get hanky from downstairs. That's not really when. Thank you for that, Lindsay. It becomes wrong when we fear people. It also becomes wrong when we try to encourage people to pay money in order to remove something. So there's a fear factor in there. It's somebody trying to push their power across to somebody, and we can do that in two ways. We can either do power through fear or power through love. There's only one or the other. Love is wisdom, understanding, knowledge, encouragement, lifting our fellow man up, even when we do not always agree with our fellow man. Fear is where we will use our power in the wrong way, for greed, to undermine somebody, to make somebody belittle somebody, to make somebody feel like they don't have control. And we are all in control of our own life, each and every one of us. But sometimes, from time to time, we think somebody's more better than us, or they have a better understanding of things, or that they are more experienced. And where we all have experience, and there is some people who do have more knowledge, and that's okay. It's not right when we use that knowledge in the wrong way in order to take money from people. For me personally, again, free will choice. I could sit here and, there's a lot of things I could say about that question, Jay, lots and lots of things. But as a person who shares knowledge, and a person who has a bigger awareness these days, I could attack, and that could make me, just as bad as that individual who does them things. Again, it's about where you have to sit within your parameters. Where do you sit? You sit within your free will. Are you in a place where you need to go down that road? You've got to remember, there's sometimes a lesson in there. The same like me with my white protection. There's a lesson in there. There's a learning in there. There's an acknowledgement. There's something I have to understand there in order so that I have more knowledge, more understanding. So sometimes, yes, it's wrong. I do agree it's wrong because it's fear factor and it's using power in the wrong capacity. But there could also be a learning connection in there as well. It's again a free will choice. And again, it's an opportunity for people to learn from it and not learn from it. That has to be. You can't change a mind that's feared. It can only change when it's ready. A mind can only be released when it's ready. You can't push a mind that's not ready to do what it wants to do. All you'll get is somebody who is some mind that's stubborn. It'll just push you back. It won't hear what you're saying. And sometimes we have to learn things on our own terms in order for us to better understand it. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there, Jeff, for you. Lindsay, bless you. Thank you so much for your advice on the medication. I would have told you that. I'm grateful to you for that one. Thank you. You need to protect yourself from other people. Lots of people are toxic. Yeah, and we're all carrying our own garbage around. We are, including myself. I've got my own garbage, you know what I mean? I've got my own things and my own fears. And I had a lot more 2 years ago. I sat down with myself and looked at what I was doing, and I was thinking to myself, this kind of gone on. Do you know what I mean? You kind of keep going on like this, Danielle. And, a lot of that stems back from childhood, programming, partners. There's lots of things we're all sort of trying to chip away at. We're all sort of projecting our fear in some capacity to the next partner we may meet, or and what the spirit world's always wanting us to do is to find that compassion within ourselves, that love for ourselves, which lots of us miss. And we all say other people are toxic. We all say that other people are, not the right people for us. And sometimes the wrong people are the right people for us. Now, I know you're going to look at me a bit weird there, like in that one. But sometimes the wrong people teaches you the very thing that you very much need to know. And sometimes when everything's up against the wall and your back's against the wall and you've got nowhere to go, that's when you learn the biggest things, And with the toxicness, it's not a word I really like. I've got to be honest, because we can use that in many different terminologies. And, people aren't toxic because they want to be toxic. People's toxic because they don't understand how it is to find the solutions. Does that make sense? There's so many of us that are, take the examples of what's going on in the global climate at the moment. We're clambering all over each other. Instead of coming from a place of love and a place of compassion, we're out there panic buying, and that's a prime example. It's not because people want to be like that. It's because people are programmed to fear more than they ever are to love more. I hope that makes sense to you there. Anyway, guess that's my answer. It is indeedy. This is great. You're welcome, Sarah. Thank you very much for joining us. I have got some classes and stuff. I'll sort of just talk about that a little bit. I've got some classes coming up in English time on the 17th of April, and also specific time on the 24th of April. All information is down below, or you can get the email address off the screen as the bar's running along. Deb saying, I'm living hurt you more than... Yeah, and I think we've got to sort of take that into consideration. We're all down here manipulating in some capacity. We're all trying, make it in this world, and we're all accountable for breaking somebody's heart, and all of us have had our own hearts broken in some capacity, all because it's where everybody's coming from. It's their parameters. It's where their fear factors sit. It's how much, inner work have they done. And I talk about that massively here on the channel. And it's not something that's talked about so much within mediumship, this inner work. And lots of people think, well, what's inner work? Inner work's sitting down with yourself and looking at what you're doing. Looking at what you're saying. Looking at how you're reacting. Are you reacting to everything anybody says? Are you taking things personally? If so, why so? You've got to ask behind the back. And mediumship, this is really good for your mediumship. When you're doing communications, when you're just getting John, you then look behind John to see what more's going on. That's just an example there, by the way. To see more what's going on. When you're triggered, they're called triggers. That's what they're called. So when you see something on Facebook, a particular quote, and it'll go, are you talking about me? Like, what you need to do is look behind the back of that and ask yourself why you thought that quote was about you. And what can you do to fix that? What can you do to not be so easily triggered? What can you do to learn to trust more? How much are you pushing your blame onto other people? And how much are you really taking personal responsibility for yourself? Do you understand? And when you start looking at it from that perspective, you start to find that you become a lot more calmer, a lot more happier, a lot more settled. You become interested in your lane, just doing your thing and being your person. And you're not interested in what they're doing or they're doing or anybody else is doing, because you're happy and content on your little journey, sort of down the road. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter what other people say about you, because other people aren't living your reality. Your reality is your reality with your relationship to the spirit world. And when you get that, you'll find that you're a lot more happier in your own skin. So I hope it helps you out there a little bit. Martin's saying, hello Martin, my darling. Everyone's different, just be yourself. That's right too. I find that I work a lot more than I used to with knowing, which often comes after a brief clairvoyance. Yes, so normally when we're doing mediumship, wherever there's an image or whether there's a word, there'll always be a follow-on of a lower clair. I've said this for a long time here on the channel, Martin. So predominantly we're not working either clairvoyantly or clairaudiently. Most mediums are working one of the two. They're the two main clairs. Then below that we'll have clairsentience, claircognilian, clairaugustus, clair empathy, these lower energy clairs. When we get an image, there's normally a feeling comes in behind the back of that, which helps us to expand on the image. So say, for example, I don't know, you had a house and you would see the house, and then you would get the feeling of the house. So the house would feel either warm or sad, which then starts to build the picture there. So that's very normal, Martin. There's no question at all with that one. That most mediums are working predominantly that way, so there's nothing wrong with that. Would love a few tips and positive video on clear and known if you can get a chance. I can certainly do them ones for you. I can certainly do a few more on clear cognition. I work predominantly that way myself, so it's a clear I understand very, very well. So yes, I will certainly do that for you. Not a problemo. So, Lindsay saying I have only had contact with my main guy. Right? Not wrong with that. I've established a sign letting me know she's with me. Great stuff. That's what we call a calling card. Very good. But I can't seem to get in contact with any other guides. Gatekeeper 7. Do you have a... Right. So, I said this the other day. I'll say it again. Bear in mind, the more you have in the team, the more you've got to manage. The more you've got to manage, the more energy you've got to manage. You've got to think about it in that capacity. So for me, there's only one I talk to, which is predominantly the fella I've spoken to, which is Chibi. There is other people I am aware of, and there is other people that I work with, but in all honesty, I only talk to them if and when I need to talk to them. And that's very rare. I have to be honest with you on that one. Now, this man, my main guide, he does the lot. He talks to me, he fills me in, he helps me with my teaching, my communications, whatever it may be there. So my answer to you, Lindsay, is here. And lots of mediums will do this, so take this as a little sort of helping hand here. Lots of people will try to fix things when there's no need to fix it. If it's not if it's not broken, don't fix it. Leave it alone. Because once you start fixing and once you start messing, then you have to. When mediums accept and understand to leave spirit business to the spirit world and leave your personal business to you, the instrument, things will go a lot better. Lots of mediums get involved in spiritual business. Get up there, start saying, this isn't right, that's not right, I'm not happy, I want this, I want that, I want da-da-da-da-da. What you should go in and say is, excuse me, Mr. Spirit World, Mrs. Spirit World, is there anything you want to talk to me about? Great listening skills are very much important in your mediumship, especially if you're developing clairaudience. We have as humans a real issue with listening. We're listening to answer, not listening to understand. My advice to you, Lindsay, is if it ain't broken, then fix it. Leave it alone, all right? One guide is more than enough. Some people want 10 and 15 in the teams. I'll tell you a little tale here and all. So when I first started on my mediumship, I thought I had to have this doorkeeper, this joy guide, this main guide, this teaching guide. I had about 6 guides running, man. It was like bedlam. I didn't know which one I wanted to talk to. Do you know what I mean? And then eventually, as the time's gone on, my teams just become smaller and smaller till I only have the select few. Does that make sense? And the ones that I know are predominantly and need to be there and is the right people for me. My advice to Lindsay is leave it alone. Sarah Owens is saying, my first teacher used to say protect myself. So I did, but I felt silly and I stopped. Now I don't use protection. It's fab. It's a personal choice. And we can never take that away from people. You should never take a choice from people. People like a choice, and that's what I try to do very much on here all the time, is give you a choice. You can either choose to go down that road, or you can choose not to go down that road. If you want to try something new, great. If it doesn't work for you, scrap it. Come back to what you were doing. If Lindsay wants to find 5 other guides, then by all means do so. But me personally, if you ask me my personal opinion, I wouldn't be fucking with that because there's nothing wrong with it unless it's broken. Leave it alone. And you can learn just to accept that you make choices and decisions every day, and that's okay. And we're not here to stigmatize somebody who wants to put that protection up against somebody who does not. And when we accept and understand that every mind is working in a different capacity, will we understand that every mind will eventually make its own decision and its own choice. And I kind of get away from that more than anything in this world. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. If you'd be so kindness to share this video around, to wherever it is you'd like to share it to, give the video a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube channel there. Sarah's saying, how's Danielle? I'm really good, actually, thanks. Louise is saying, if you've got good boundaries, you don't need the bubble. If you believe in yourself, there you are, Louise. Thank you very much for that. It does, thank you very much. Thanks, Christy, my darling. Where lessons we learned, we certainly do. Jade saying question from a friend. Your friend's got a lot of questions, Jay. Anyway, do you believe in earthbound spirits or spirits that get stuck between two worlds? I don't believe that, no. I tell you why I don't believe that. Because I don't, it goes against, so let me break it down for you. The best way I can put it. So the biggest question I can get to you is that we are in belief that when all of us go to the spirit world, our loved ones are there. Right? That's it. So if that's the case and all our loved ones and guides are there when we go to the spirit world or when we're ready to take our passing, there's no possible way that anybody can be struck, right? Because your loved ones are already there and they take you over. That's the concept and understanding that I had. So therefore, as far as my understanding is of the spiritual realms, is that nobody can get stuck because your loved ones are already there taking you over. Do people come back to the earth world and visit? Yes, I do believe they do. And I'll tell you, so I'll tell you a story. I'm into stories tonight. So I've been in this house, what, 10, 12 years. So when I first come here, when I first come to view this property, I knew that there was somebody in the house. I didn't see him, but I knew he was here, right? Now, he was the gentleman who owned the home, and he used to come backwards and forwards from the spirit world, I think just to either check in on the house or check in on who's moved in or whatever it may be. And I'll never forget, I was sitting downstairs. I'll even show you the imitation, right? I was sitting downstairs, and all of a sudden, I was sitting on the settee downstairs, and I heard somebody say hello, and at first I thought it was inside of my mind. And then I lifted my head up, right? And from round the corner, as clear as you're looking at me, there was a head leaning round the door like that. And inside of my mind I heard, "Can I come in?" And I went, "No, you can't." And away he went. So do I believe that the spirit world come down here if they have ties to the house or their particular, loved ones still live within that house, or live very close by? Yeah, I think there's a possibility of that intelligence being used in that capacity, Jay. Yes. Do I think people get stuck? No, I don't think. Can we help them to the light? Now, I've heard of rescue circles, and, I've heard people say that again. There's me. Again, there's been lots of talk, Jay. There's been lots of talk. I'm just watching me on the screen, right? Rescue circles, again, it's a personal belief. Some people believe it's ego. Some people think that it goes against the intelligence. Some people think this, that, and the t'other. And that's okay. What people think and what you believe is fine. There's no question. If there's enough proof to back it, you've got to remember opinions are only based on an emotion, on your belief system. And when somebody compromises or challenges that belief, it only becomes factually evidential or proven fact when it is proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. So court of law, if that makes sense. Everything else is open for interpretation. And somebody's interpretation is very different to somebody else's interpretation. And some people do believe that, these rescue circles and things like that, and, helping people into the light. And if that's what they want to believe in, then who am I to say any differently? Do I think that could probably be right? Probably not, no, because it goes against the intelligence. But could there be an element of belief in that as well? Yeah, and the problem with mediumship is nobody's got the answers for sure. Nobody. Not even me. Do you know what I mean? Nobody for sure knows 100% guaranteed on the nose, hands down, fact proven, point blank. It's open to interpretation. Everything's open to interpretation. So when we talk about them things, yeah, it might be ego. Yeah, it might not go on. But then again, it may also go on and on. And I think it's an arrogance to think that we have all the answers of a collective and an intelligence that is far advanced beyond us. And yes, they have got intelligence. But also, I've got to put this to you and know. We as humans, as intelligent as we are, get lost. Do we not? From time to time, every one of us at some point in our life have been lost. And so you can't rule out for sure, Jay, one way nor the other. And you have to look at it from that perspective. I look at mediumship very much like that, and the intelligence and the spirit world. We gotta be open-minded to anything and anything, and to try and box it off and say it's like this or it's like that is really, I think, sometimes an undertone of arrogance of the spirit world, because I think anything's possible, in all fairness. And I have to put that question to you, and probably to the people who are watching. We've all been lost at some point. Christine saying, how do you have to go? All right, Christine, ta-da, my darling. Gotta go. See you later, Debs. Off. When you give a reading, how do I get past the emotion that comes up to get the next piece of information? Right. So what I want to say to you there is you're too involved in the communication, Jay. That would be the first thing. So you're talking about too much sort of emotion or too much sort of impression. So what the spirit world's doing there is they're testing you. Again, a bit like the clairvoyant. So there could be a clear empathy link or a clear sentience link. So what I want to say to you there is that the spirit world may be testing you to see how much you're implying, how much you're not implying, how much you're allowing, how much you're not allowing, so that your spirit helpers, guides, and inspirers can adjust that accordingly there. What I could say and what I would say to you is if it's becoming too much, you need to go back to the spirit world and say to them, look, I get that. There's no need for you to keep pushing that on me like that. Again, you're in control. It is your mind after all. They will ease that off. But also your mind's got to be allowing that in some capacity there as well. So you've got to take that into consideration, Jay, as well. I feel like I get stuck with the pain. Well, then all you need to do is to tell them ease that off. Or speak it and it will go off. Or if you haven't in-depthly looked at that connection or that communication, or you've missed a bit of detail or evidence within that, it may stay until it's completely spoken of. Once it's completely spoken of, it may then go off altogether. But if it's a real problem, one, it's your mind's allowing it. Two, the spirit world could be testing the clear range, see where they maybe want to do a little bit more sort of work with you in that capacity. So really, you've got to look at a few different parameters. Don't get boxed in there, Jay, with that one. That would be my answer. Sometimes when we want one answer, it could be a couple. Always look round, be as general as possible. But there would be a couple of things that I would give you like that. Caitlin saying, that's something you think people new to this should know. What do you mean, Caitlin? As in respect to protection, or what? What? Let me know. You'll have to abbreviate your question a little bit more for me there, Caitlin, if you're still about, of course. Sarah Owen saying, I had a dream the other day. I went back to my childhood house and I was looking for shoes. Is the guide telling me something? Again, have you asked? So when you get them types of things going on, Sarah, have you taken a look at what the spirit world may be saying to you, or have you had a word with the guides and see what their interpretation is of it before you look outside? Always go to the guides first. Always speak to the spirit world first. Get their interpretation, because the spirit world's always interpreting and trying to get your attention. If it means nothing, also you've got to be careful that there may be some inner work. You have been telling me you've been doing inner work, so there may be some things that are bubbling up within your subconscious that are being released, or things that you are taking a look at in yourself in order to be readdressed within your childhood. Don't always blame the spirit world, because if you're doing inner work, there's going to be that resurfacing of old memories, old sort of attachments, detachments. So there could be that going on there as well, Sarah. Hiya, Terry, darling. I hope you're well. Lindsay saying, thank you for saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. That's exactly right, my darling. I'm a great believer in that with mediumship as well. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. Leave it alone. Because otherwise you just... And that's a problem with mediumship and with humans as well. We're constantly striving, and what happens is when we're striving, we're in the future. We're not present, and everything that's meant to be addressed and that's meant to be looked at will be looked at. I'm perfectly happy. You leave it. You leave her alone, Lindsay. All right. could talk to my mentors, says Danielle. Danielle, could you talk to my mentors? It depends on what you mean by mentors there, Danielle. All right. Hiya, Danielle. Hiya, Angela, darling. Denise is here as well. Hello, my chicken egg. Martin's in. Danielle, hiya, Danielle, my darling. Martin's in. Do you use remote viewing and mediumship? I do. I do get it to see different parts of houses when the person lives, but it's difficult to let my mind creep in with what I expect to see. Remote viewing is a psychic ability and a mediumistic ability. It was something I did very early on in my mediumship. I've got to be honest with you there, Martin. Something I thoroughly enjoyed as well. I don't do as much of it as I used to, but I think that's just a progression of my mediumship, if that makes sense. Great fun. Great, I used to be able to pick wallpaper, colours of wallpaper and carpet and all sorts of stuff. I've got to be honest with you. Great fun, greatly sort of excitable, really a great tool set to have. I've got to be honest with you on that one. Difficult not to let your mind creep in. You're always gonna have that element, no matter how many times you do mediumship, no matter how many times you do platform work, whatever. There's always going to be an element of you, Martin. You can't get away from that because you are the instrument. The instrument's always going to be there. The instrument's always going to have some sort of influence in some capacity. My advice is just do the best you can, and as long as you're doing the best you can, you're not gonna go far wrong. That's my advice to you there. Always do, as long as you're doing your best, and as long as you're trying your best, and as long as you're doing it with all the right intention and all the rest of it, you're never gonna go far wrong. And did it, you're gonna be your biggest critic. No one's gonna critique you as much as you critique yourself. I guarantee you that. There'll be people out there who will say things, and there will be people out there that will have an opinion. There is people out there that is gonna have something to say. All I will say to you is do your best, work to the best of your ability. Accept that sometimes you're gonna get it wrong. Sometimes you're gonna accept that you're gonna have to maybe backtrack. Sometimes you're gonna accept that you're gonna have to stand still for a while. Lots of mediums can hack that standing still, because when they first start out, it's quite quick. Everybody's up on that path, they're away, and then they'll come to like a grinding halt, and they're like, oh my god, what's gone wrong here? And it's like nothing's gone wrong. It's one, you need to stand still in mediumship because there may be some work that the instrument needs to do, or it could be that you're going. People say that the spirit world don't slow you down. I've heard that now, and the spirit world don't do this and they don't do that. When you work for the spirit world, they're in control. You're not in control. They're in control. You give your answer to them when you are committed to the path. When you commit to the path, you become a server for the spirit world. You give half of you to them. And if they think that you're going too fast, or they think that you've missed something on your development, or they feel there's something within you that you need to learn more on, they're going to teach you that, because that's important in order for your development, your growth of you as the instrument, and also for you as the individual. You're not just working for them. This is what people didn't realize when they do mediumship. And I didn't realise this in our mind, I'll be honest with you. It's a path of self-discovery. It's a path of inner growth. It's a path of healing. It's a path of looking at who you are and becoming more and more aware of the individual and where you stand within this world and what you offer to this world. And that can be quite mind-blowing for people. People think that mediumship's communications, getting the development down, all them type of things. There's so much more to it, like Martin, I've got to be honest to you, and you will find that as you walk more and more that path. And when lots of people say that they're stuck, and lots of people say that they can't move forward, it's not that there's anything wrong with the mediumship. It's that you've actually had to stand still because of stuff that you need to learn. And people will say that's not right, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate every viewpoint that comes through here. And I appreciate that some people may say that, yeah, I don't agree with that, Danielle, and that's okay. But I will say to you here and now, from my own personal journey that I've done with the spirit world, I was very quick up and on. First 3 to 4 years, it was just all go, go, go. But I would say in the last, year, 18 months, I've been doing massive amounts of self-development. And granted, it was needed, and very much, I'm so pleased I did it now, if that makes sense. I'm so pleased that I've got that sort of acknowledgement, because I think if I hadn't, I couldn't have kept working the way I was. So my advice to you, Martin, is try not to worry. Try to take your time, and try not to give yourself a hard time if it doesn't always work out the way you wanted it to. All right? Louise is away. I have to catch her when I miss later when I've been on. But no problem, Louise. Danielle's saying, could you talk to my mentors? Laura's back. My guides, please. Unfortunately, Danielle, I don't talk to other people's guides unless I'm training them, my darling. I don't just randomly go talking to people's guides. I don't go up onto people's spiritual boundaries. I didn't do none of that. I've got to be honest with you on that one. The only thing that I do is when I'm training, if there's something I need to know in respect of my students, my guides may come, she may come to me and say, look, this is a problem or well, this needs addressing. But even then, it's not my job to get involved in their spiritual team. It's only what that particular team feels I need to know at that time. And even then, I don't always get to know everything. They may just make me aware of one or two things that may be a hiccup within the development, or it may be there may be something I need to look at in order to take that mentorship or mediumship forward with the training. But they've agreed to that. They've signed into that. That's a permission they've given me when they come on to me as a trainee. Angela's saying, Danielle, the remote viewing, I must have been doing it without actually knowing it. I think that's the great thing with mediumship. And I know this is going to sound really weird, right? But I tend to find the less you know, right? The less interference there is. The more you get to know, the more you want to interfere, the more you want to sort of get involved. And sometimes it's right what they say, ignorance is bliss when it comes to mediumship. Do you know what I mean? It is. Mediumship, it's sometimes ignorance is bliss. But I understand the need for knowledge and I understand the need to understand things better. But sometimes knowing more about it makes it harder for you, if that makes sense, because then you're not, and then you become aware you're doing it, so then you stop doing it, so then you build in them triggers sometimes, and sometimes that can be a downfall with mediumship as well. Like, I've got to be honest with you. Sarah saying, have you got your radio or something on low? Because when you stop talking, I can hear a woman talking. No, I think it's the backdrop of the mic. I'm going to look again at it. Like Sarah, I've got to be honest, it's still something, it's just taken a while to get this technology up and running. We've done a lot more since, you know what I mean? And I do think, the picture's amazing, you know what I mean? The picture's getting better every time I do it. The screen or this is getting better. We've got some more graphics and things coming, that type of thing. The mic, I'm going to have a look again at that. Any tips on working with your eyes only rather than shutting them when doing readings? You're about the third person asked me that question in the last couple of weeks. Right. Lots of people, so let's look at why. No problem, Martin, no problem at all. Right, so lots of people shut their eyes. And the first thing I notice when people shut their eyes is the nervous. That's normally one of the reasons, right? It's the nervous because they're frightened of what people's going to think. They're frightened that the room's going to be looking at them, which makes a lot of people nervous. It does. 40, 50 pairs of eyes looking at you in an open circle or, that type of thing makes people nervous. It does. So they shut the eyes in order to be able to connect more. Tips I would give you to keep your eyes open rather than while you're doing reading. My advice is don't look at the clientele. Now, this is also a tip I've given as well. It also breaks the psychic link. So anybody who has a sitting from me, what I would say to you is I always sit at a tilt. So I'll be sort of on a conch with my legs crossed, and I look at my client but not look at my client. That would be one of the things that I would say. Learn to stare at a blank screen as well. So and another tip I can give you is when you're doing that, look to the back of the room. If you're doing like open circles, stuff like that, look to the back of the room. And if you say to people, I'm not being ignorant, but I just need to look over here, would that be all right? Most clientele are happy with that. And it also breaks that psychic link of using your eyes, because you've got to remember there's external clairvoyance and there's internal clairvoyance. So external clairvoyance is looking through these eyes. So there's got to be that sort of psychic ability there, because the spirit's looking through your eyes to be able to give the communication. So there'd be a couple of hints and tips I'd give you, Jay. Angela saying, I understand that's a Zoom class. I'm pleased you enjoy them Zoom classes. I've been training on Zoom now for a little while. I love Zoom. I've got to be honest with you on that one, man. I do like training in person better, I've got to be honest, but I can do Zoom and I've got to be honest with you on that one. And Lillian said, I don't hear a separate voice. Yes, sound and look awesome. Well, thank you for that there, Lillian, darling. I appreciate that. Sarah saying it doesn't sound like you, though. Strange. Could be some random, could be the spirit world, could be out, you know what I mean? Out, possible with the spirit world. You never know with them, man. They are cute, they are clever, do you know what I mean? But they do keep me on my toes, like, I gotta be honest with you on that one. So, yeah, I hope that helps a few of you. I don't know if I've missed anybody's questions, if I missed anybody else's questions. Any other questions? Been out on fire tonight with questions, so thank you very much, my lovely, lovely lot. I hope you are enjoying it. Please do like and share the video. I'd be really grateful. Again, Zoom classes, new ones coming up is on the 17th and the 24th of April. You know, Pacific and English time if you want to come along and join us on them. There's also an email address and a wish list down below in the description box if you sort of want to get involved in that there as well. A couple of new mics for the channel, a couple of bits and pieces to do more video content, you know, this type of thing. So, you know, if you don't really want to donate, you can donate as well. But, you know, if you can't afford to, or you can't afford to buy them, once we monetize, just watch a couple of the videos. Now, I'll help, so I've got to be honest with you. Terry's saying, yes, I agree, Lynn. Sound and picture is great today. I've got to be honest, like, we are getting better. I am getting better, like. And, you know, I knew absolutely nothing about YouTube, like, nothing at all, like. And it's come a long way, my channel. And you lot now who's watched, I'm eternally grateful. Yes, thank you very much for that there as well. And I'm sure things will only get better. So things can only get better. Who sang that? Things can only get better. I don't take anything on my karaoke voice, right? Because I kind of sing for toffee. But I'll always have a go, of course. Anyway, so Terry said, love the Zoom classes. It's always a pleasure to have you with us, Terry. Terry's been with me on a couple of Zoom classes now. It's been absolutely, you know, I had Terry up with the crack of dawn the other morning because obviously Pacific time and English time is two completely different things. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to train some of you, and I look forward to training many, many more of you as well. Very funny classes. There's a lot of fun goes on in my classes. I've got to be honest with you on that one. I met them with some queer old stuff. Thank you so much. No problem at all. Jay saying, do you need to sit in the pool before doing a reading? I would agree no to that one. But again, Jay, it's a personal choice. It's a personal belief, you know. It's entirely up to you what you want to do. If you want to sit for 10 minutes quiet, go for it. If you didn't. You know, for me personally, I'll sort of give you a little bit of background on me. I was doing all that, Jay, when I first started out, sitting before reading, you know, just sort of doing them things. And I found it beneficial as a beginner. As you probably move along that path, it's probably you don't need to do that. So you maybe sit in the power 2 or 3 times a week like I do. Well, I sit every day, but that's not for readings, just because I like to sit. It's again, as you move and as your mediumship moves, things will alter and change. I think it's not good to make people think that they shouldn't sit before a reading or you shouldn't, you know, meditate or whatever. If you want to do that and that's beneficial to you, by all means, do it, you know what I mean? It's what we call ritual. It's called, you know, sort of, it's called, I know, Sherrod's was amazing. It's one of main chief designed. It's a blast. The best to do it yet is my Irish lot. They do that class so well. But anyway, getting back to Jade's question, you know, it's a personal choice. It's entirely up to you. We shouldn't be saying what's right, wrong, and different. I mean, it's rituals, like I was going to say, you know, and we do add rituals in our mediumship. We have rituals every day. We get up, we brush our teeth, we wash our hair. You know, the general day-to-day hygiene. And maybe that's what some people need. They need that ritual. I mean, I've done a video on rituals somewhere in the channel, and again, I said in that video, and I'll say here now, you know, if you don't want to do, you know, just linking in and working straight from there, that's okay. If you need that meditation and then you go for that there and all. Me personally, I like to keep a really sort of broad spectrum. I like to allow people to be free in their mediumship. It's important. It's taking choices from people, and I didn't like that. Like, I didn't like it when we're taking choices from people. I didn't like it when we're telling people what to do, because that's not right. It's not our job to be telling people what to do. It's important, you know, to allow people to have that freedom to move around to the best of their ability, because the more they move around, then they've got that opportunity to learn. We don't feel as clambered in. I think when you are tunneled down one way and it's got to be done this way, people feel very boxed in. When you feel boxed in, you feel like you lose your individuality, and that's not what the spirit world wants. The spirit world don't want to lose You should never lose your individuality of how you do your mediumship, or what bases you need to put in order for that mediumship to work, because that's what they're the mechanics you need. Them mechanics may change. I did a video on tool bags, and bags and kits. Them bags and kits change and alter over the years, and that's okay. In the startup, should you be linking instantly? Yes, I do agree with that wholeheartedly. The connection is instant. I don't dispute that. But what you need to do before that is entirely your business. And I'm not here to tell you whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent. I gotta be honest with you on that one. Thank you to all those who are saying hi. Thank you and talking about Tell you they're Irish to the best. I tell you, fantastic. I've got photos of my phone and they're Irish. They're Irish. I love my Irish lot. They are fantastic. They really are. I love all of you actually. I've met people from all over the world. I have a lot to do with never done telephone service any difficult than one-to-one. No, Martin. I started in telephones actually, Martin. Fantastic for clairaudience because you listen to the voice vibration. Fantastic, honestly, definitely. No, there shouldn't be any difference. You will find you're predominantly better at ones. You're probably better at one-to-ones, maybe telephones or online. But they'll all be about the same. But one you'll sit better with. For me personally, it's demonstration work. I love to demonstrate. I don't know why. I just have a great passion for it. But the same with that. Some will work for you. They'll all work, but you'll find one that really resonates with you, and that's probably the one you'll do more. But that's entirely up to you. By all means, keep the questions coming, Martin. I'm happy to sit here as long as you're here. Hold up a minute. Abby, will you make some tea? That's a yes. Good stuff. Anyway, so yeah, Lindsay, by all means, the Zoom class and stuff's up on the website, www.daniellethehappymedium.com. By all means, get involved in that. Jade saying thank you. No problem, Jay. No problem. Thank you very much for all your help, by the way. I'm eternally grateful to you as well. Thank you for, sometimes I need pointing in the right direction, especially from a viewer's point of view. So but thank you for helping me to grow. I'm always open to learning and understanding things a little bit more. So thank you. I've got to thank you for that one there and all. Sarah saying, I'm still learning to fill the spirit world's energy when I take my mind there. I'm learning to fill. Take your time with that. It'll come. There's no big rush here. You know what I mean? It'll happen when it happens, Sarah. Don't you worry about that. When the time is right, it'll happen for you. And, again, it's when you learn it, a lot of the knowledge you've got. And then all you do is over time you just integrate whatever you need to integrate and take out the rest of it. Don't worry about that. Don't get too caught up in where you should be or where you shouldn't be. You're right where you are. Later, earlier. You're just right where you're meant to be, right at this time. No differently. Lindsay, sorry, my apologies, Louise. Danielle, when you pass to the other side, do you get to see your guys? There's a question now. Yeah, I think you do actually. I'd like to think so. Chief gave me a great. I think I might have spoke about this before.
Next time, get up to RCC.
Thank you. Bye bye now. Toodles. Right. Chief gave me a great sort of great way to look at things. When we're doing communications, sitting work or sort of demonstration work, and I assume it's probably the same for your question. He give me the image of a queue, like in the post office. When you say, oh, the lovely old dears and gentlemen. And, they haven't seen anybody in a little while, and they're sort of cracking on to each other, I wonder if I'm going to get through the day, I wonder if I'm going to see this one, I wonder if this one's going to see me, and da-da-da. And I think that's a beautiful experience to think that they're all sort of chatting away up there, and they're all getting themselves a bit excited, you know what I mean? And I would assume that it's probably the same like that when we pass the spirit world. We get very excited. We join, we get involved with other guides and our loved ones and our helpers. And I'm a great believer, because we're all universally connected, each and every one of us, through the power of the thought and the power of love. We're all connected in respect of every loved one on here, in some capacities, probably assisted me in some way. Or vice versa, your loved ones are assisting other people here, and I'm a great believer in. I've said this for a long time. I used to say this a lot on Facebook. I did a lot of work on Facebook for many years. That we're all working together. That every loved one is helping me in some capacity to deliver messages to other people, or to assist me in some way to move forward. And I think that's a beautiful thought. I really, really, no problem, Martin. Bye for now, darling. I'll see you soon. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thought. I really, really do like that life. I really do. And I hope that, yeah, and do you know what it is? I believe it's true, right, and accurate. Well, do you know what it is? That's a belief of mine. And I wouldn't like to say that that's a true, right, and accurate statement, because that would be wrong on me. But I would like to say, and I do believe, from my point of view, that that's a possibility. Any other questions? Thank you very much for all you joining here. Please do like the video. I'll be really, really grateful to you. You know, it really helps with bringing it up through YouTube ranking. Fight the droves out there. Loads of them everywhere. Gotta be honest with you on that one. But yeah, if everybody's finished and done, we'll call it a night. We've been here for nearly 2 hours. I can't believe it. Chatting away. Look at us, lot. Talking away. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so humbly grateful for all of your questions, for all of you who've come along. Thank you to everybody who's shared and subscribed and watching the channel and stuff. And, you know, please do use the email account and stuff. And definitely I'll see you all soon if you have all finished and done with your questions. I'm having a mouthful of this tea. I'm up at 6 a.m. Way up at 4 a.m. in the morning for Gold Coast out in Australia. So please do sort of come along and see me over there. And that's on Facebook though, so certainly check that out. If you want to follow us on the social media platforms, it's Instagram, Facebook, you know, them types of things. And he's been one of them days today. Are we all finished and done? I think we are. Thank you very much for joining me here this evening. Thank you to Jade for all her questions, and Lindsay, and Terry. In fact, everybody. Denise, you know, thank you, ladies and gents. It's been an absolute pleasure. Next one's in a fortnight's time. I'll get that up tomorrow for you. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a lovely evening. Big kisses. Thank you. I'm humbly touched. Thank you very much. I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye for now. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye.